I would invite women and people that either have uteruses or have had uteruses to engage in a thought experiment about like what it would be like to be on your period but like not have access to pads, tampons, no clean water, no clean clothes, no pain medication, but really like it is too much of an abstraction at this point to, in my opinion, to even begin to entertain the notion of imagining the ballpark in which the menstruators of Watermelon are existing. You may or may not know this about me because I haven't posted about it since 2020 on here. One of my best friends and I co-founded several chapters here in the Bay Area of a menstrual equity nonprofit back in 2016, and we provided menstrual hygiene products to the underserved and unhoused menstruators of San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, and the surrounding areas. If you want to learn more about that project, why I'm no longer working with that particular organization, and the larger topic of the politics of periods, you can go to my YT channel, and I have an entire video essay series, and I'm happy to do videos here if people are interested. Why I think that like thought exercise is pointless is because the circumstances are so extreme. I facilitate a women's group online that I started in 2014, and in looking for content to post in that group, I happened across an article about a nonprofit that was providing menstrual hygiene products to homeless people. And I couldn't believe at my 34 years of age at the time that it had never occurred to me, the woke intersectional feminist I was what homeless women do, what homeless menstruators do when they're on their period. The thought experiment back then was like, oh my God, like I can't believe I never thought about what a homeless person does when they're on their period. They have clean clothes, they don't have access to a bathroom where they won't get arrested. They have to choose between food and pads. They have to choose between, shoplifting or being in an unsanitary situation / being in pain. That I think is something somewhat tangible of a thought experiment that we can engage in. To couple that with incendiary apparatus falling from the sky, all of the things that go with Jennifer Oside's exploits is too much to comprehend. Being in the worst menstrual pain you've ever been in, like I can conjure that up. I can feel that right now. I can feel it. But to feel it and put myself in those circumstances is impossible. Conceptualize it very abstractly up here, but there's no way for me to empathize with that on an emotional level. It's just impossible. So rather than like trying to or forcing ourselves in the modern West or the global North to imagine such an impossibly horrible, painful in every sense of the word experience, I think what we can do as a thought experiment or as a meditation is to sit with the distance that exists, to sit with and meditate on the fact that we cannot begin to. The ballpark is, I can't even imagine the ballpark, okay? Is to sit with how much of an abstraction it still is to begin to put ourselves in the position of women and menstruators in Watermelon. And I think in sitting with that distance and acknowledging that like we can't even begin, I think we can begin to go to work, whether that be donating, whether that be disseminating information, whether that being getting involved in your own community and just simply serving the unhoused and underserved in your backyard, which is always necessary, always necessary. Next time you reach for your Advil or your Aleve or your hot water bottle or your heating blanket or whatever it is you reach for, just taking a moment and saying thank you. Send a Care Bear stare to the women and menstruators in Watermelon. The worst menstrual pain I ever experienced put me in the emergency room. Had an emergency room. and that emergency room was not at risk of incendiary ordnance falling from the sky. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but even the oppressor deserves menstrual hygiene. Even the oppressor deserves access to menstrual hygiene. Liberation is liberation for everybody.